Yo, what's good? Coming off a huge loss, devastating loss again. It's a normal occurrence for me. It's just nuclear bomb after nuclear bomb on my country here. Um, to be honest, if I was playing Risk, I would be down with like a half a player left or whatever those little little squads are. I would all my cavalry's gone. I'm pretty much fucked. Pretty much. But what happens when I'm fucked? I'll tell you. I look at more analytics. I look more and more at data and stuff. I'm trying to find more. And it's a bit of a circle. I just walking around in circles. At this point, I feel like a shepherd who have lost all his sheep and cows and cattle. And I just walk around in circles. And I see the same fence every day. And it's like, this is pretty much my life. That's how it feels, bro. But what do I do? There's nothing else to it but to do it. So this is what I do. I look at more data. So what's the next thing to look at? Well, the next thing to look at is I'm thinking about how come I lost today, and I lost because I mean reverted when it trended. Why did I mean revert? And what does mean reversion means? It means doubling down on losers and trailing your target. And I do that in a standardized way. And I trended too. I trended today, and I mean reverted. But it just so happens that I lost the mean reversion trades. Why? It has nothing to do with the chart. It has everything to do with the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet, I'll tell you right now, was telling me, well, your spreadsheet's wrong. Yeah, you're probably right, bro. Pretty much everything is wrong. I'll be honest. But I'll just say that the spreadsheet was trending like crazy. The spreadsheet was trending on the 12.5 increment count. It was just gunning, a 3R, a 6R. I mean, these are rare occurrences that it happens to be a 6R. I'm like, wow. And a 3R right after it, like, wow, this is going to settle down. It has nowhere else to go but to settle down. The trend score was outrageous. So what I did was mean revert. And what happens? I win one. I mean revert again. That's fine. We're going to mean revert for a couple, 2-3 trades. On the second one, bam, just a huge loss. And mean reversion, I'll lose 7R on a mean reversion trade, while I'll make 1R on a mean reversion trade. So it's a 7R risk for me. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, obviously that's never the answer. Well, seems to be not the answer. I'll tell you that. But I've mean reverted before, and it works. Especially when it needs to settle down. I thought that that's what needed to happen, but it turns out that it just kept trending, man. It just kept on moving. So unfortunately, I lost big time, bro. And that's just what happens. So now I'm thinking like, well, what if I get in on a mean reversion trade, not right away, but after it has trended? Let's give it head start. Let's let it move and then mean revert. So for example, the red cross is when the indicator says to get in the market. So this goes short. This is a stop and reverse indicator, so I would be mean reverting. So the indicator goes short at the red. I would go long at the red, but because I would be mean reverting. But it ends up going 1R without a retracement, 2R without a retracement. This would have been a retracement, but it didn't technically hit this increment. So I don't count it. Yeah. So it's gone 1R, 2R without a retracement. Now, at this point, how about this? How about I start mean reverting now instead of right away at the cross? Because then it gives me all this runoff. It can go 3R, 4R, 5R to stop me out instead of going just 3R to stop me out. Because if I got my red box is always my risk. So whatever. That's what I was thinking. Now, how can I know how big of a head start I should give it? 1R increment, 2R increment. How do you know? Well, I could use a standard deviation of the past 10 or 20 trades. The past 10 results, what is the standard deviation of the increment counts on these trades? Well, I'll tell you right now. Right now, it's a 2.17. So that means about two increments standard deviation on any one given trade. So that's a big deviation. So let's allow it to go to 2R in one direction and then stomp it and then mean revert it. It'll just take patience and fewer trades, but if they're more accurate, I'm totally down with it, because then you can risk more if they're more accurate. Who knows, right? Position sizing is another story. So let's go into that, and I did, and it turns out that, let's look at 414. I'll tell you right now, today you would have taken, granted, you would not be trading every single moment of the whole day, so you'd probably miss, let's say, a third of these, but who cares? There's 30 trades here and 30 wins. 30 trades and 30 wins, all of them won. That's crazy. However, you can see here these reds it becomes a 50-50 chance. So it goes 1R against me. It goes 2R against me. Well, sorry, I would be starting at 2R, right? Or 1R, whatever the standard deviation is. It goes 1 or 2 today. So basically it says I start the mean reversion after it has trended twice at 2R. I'll start mean reverting, and we actually capture a lot of trades. However, on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1/3 of the trades was a 50-50 chance of losing, because it's gone 1R, 2R against me, and a 3R against me would be my stop loss. So if it's gone 2, that means it has a 50-50 chance of going 3. So I happen to get really lucky, or the backtest looks really, really lucky. So we have to be aware of that. And that's why I have a second day here that I need to see. But in terms of this, I do want to say, let's say half of these were to lose, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5 of them were to lose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were to lose. We seriously lose today then. Today would have been, you're down 10R, right? If half of those were to lose. It happens that this is not, it would be, it's probably statistically significant that none of those lost, even though they were technically a 50-50 chance of happening. They never lost. I don't know why, but perhaps because it's already trended that far. Perhaps. And I give it a lot of runoff. So let's give it the next day and see what happens as a tiebreaker. The next day was April 11th. Well, actually, this is going back in time. Either way, the profit loss is 61 trades. You're down 3R. That doesn't work at all. You make 30R today, yet the last day you trade it, you trade 61 times and you lose. Man, oh man, I tell you what. The reds are the losses. Bam, 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 loss, bam, bam, loss, bam, loss. Brutal, man. Really tough stuff, I must say. What can be a giveaway of it might lose? Bro, I've looked so hard at this. I can't tell you why these trends happen. Trends just do happen, and they seemingly appear out of freaking nowhere. They appear out of thin air. I'm looking at volume upticks. Maybe volume or speed starts to increase, and then, trend's going to have happened, bro. Not every time, I must say. This is lower than normal speed, somewhat normal volume. It's in a mean reversion environment. The trend score is weak, and it just so happens that bam, it slams a nice trend. can't do much about it, dude, honestly. That is tough. So yeah, that's about it. So really nothing here, to be honest, but another more analysis and stuff like that. All right, peace, mate. It was a good one, mate. It was a good one. No, it was actually not a good one, but peace.